Happy Derby Day, everyone. We are up on the 7th floor of Churchill Downs in the announcer's booth with the voice of the Kentucky Derby and Churchill Downs, Travis Stone.
What's up, everyone? How we doing?
Travis is going to give us a little sneak peek into his world. And if you have any questions for Travis, just go ahead and ask them in the comments, and we'll try to get some answered. Travis, you want to tell people what you're about to do?
So we are Derby Day rolling on. We got the third race coming up. We'll be on the turf for this one, and just a couple of minutes from now, start to memorize these horses and try and call the race and not screw up.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. But no, it's a lot of fun. And early in the day on Derby Day, the objective is to try and stay as calm as possible. Use a lot of throat lozenges throughout the day to keep the voice nice and healthy, because this is a long day. The Derby's not until close to 7 o'clock. So it can be challenging. A lot of water, no coffee, no soda, good stuff only. And occasionally watch people have a good time in the infield.
Yeah, pretty good crowd out there already. We're hoping for no rain today at all.
I don't think we're supposed to have any.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be overcast.
Got it out of our system. So again, if you're just joining us, we're in the announcer's booth with Travis Stone. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the comments.
We've got one from Anthony. What inspired you to become a horse race announcer?
I grew up in upstate New York. We used to go to Saratoga all the time. If you're a racing fan, you know what that is. Summer meet. And I just fell in love with the game. I was one of those kids that would come home and pretend to play horse racing. I'd race matchbox cars. I'd ride my bike pretending I was a jockey, and I'd always call the race. And it just sort of developed from there. I really enjoyed it. Took a keen interest in it. Found myself listening to the race calls more than watching the race, and went to school for communications and practiced race calling all throughout. And got a little bit lucky with a couple of jobs here or there, and here we are.
What was your the first Derby that you called?
First Derby was 2015 American Pharoah. I had never been to the Kentucky Derby ever. So I got the job that winter, and it sort of all hit at once. Like, wow, I've never been to the Derby. So if you've never been to the Derby, it's a production, because there's people everywhere. There's traffic. There's restrictions and rules, and you can only park in certain spaces. And so all of it was new to me. And then, of course, the task of actually calling the race. This will be my 8th Derby this year. It's kind of scary to think about. I don't like that.
Flies by, though.
Yeah, it does.
How do you stay so calm on such an exciting day?
It is truly you have to work at it. So I'm a high-strung person in general. So little things that will get me going, I try and block out. People can't drive. So when you're driving in, it's really challenging to not get annoyed by people cutting you off in traffic. You just got to let that stuff go and truly stay as calm as possible. I started this year, I downloaded a meditation hypnosis app, and they have like little quick 10-15 minute deals that you can do, which is perfect between races. I'll put the headphones in and just try and chill and keep the nerves down as much as possible. But it's a challenge. Every year it's a challenge.
So let's tell everyone what you are doing right now.
Sure. So when we call races, I'll use binoculars, and the objective is to keep your eye on the horses at all times. And so the silks the jockeys wear are what us announcers try and memorize with the horse's name. And this is my cheat sheet. So if in the middle of the race I can't see a horse, or I can't quite remember, which happens all throughout the day, you can quickly take a look down and say, oh, Gray, I see Gray. Okay, Gray's Lady Rockstar. That sort.
Yes, so I'd rather be too much.
And kick the people that make noise in the hallway out.
There's the ponies waiting for the horses.
See Steve Buttleman come out.
Oh.
He's coming out shortly.
Steve is our bugler and does the call to post. Oh, there he is. I don't think I can zoom on here, unfortunately. But
Is this the process that most track announcers use?
Hold on one second, I'll answer that. On the track, race number 3, scratch number 10, double exacta, trifecta, superfecta, pick 3 wagering on the turf, and the turf is firm. 5 minutes. All announcers try and memorize, whether or not they color with markers or crayons or color pencils or at all. That's sort of a personal preference. But if you're going to call races, you're supposed to memorize. I'm sure there are people that don't. It makes for a weaker, more boring call because you can tell they're having to look down and look up who it is they're announcing, and yeah. So, but everybody tries to memorize.
so horses. You can start watching the undercard race on USA Network starting at noon, and then we'll switch over to NBC at 2:30. That's 2:30 Eastern time, and that will have the coverage all the way up through the Derby, which post time is just, I think, 1 minute before 7, so about 7 o'clock. You should tune in before. Lots of good stuff. Red carpet, celebrities, other races.
Any difficult names this year or combos to remember?
There's a lot of blue silks in the Derby this year. Tis the Bomb, Zozos, Zandon, a few of them. Messier's blue with yellow. So sort of thinking about that a little bit. In terms of difficult, the names aren't as difficult this year, but it's more about saying them clearly when you're in the moment of the Derby. It's easy to sort of let your voice and your brain run away from you when you mumble words or jumble words together. That's probably more challenging than any of the names this year. Ethereal Road, scratched. He was going to be a little bit of a tricky one. That's a lot to say in the middle of a race. You only have 2 minutes to get it all out. So nobody particularly difficult. Shouldn't be too bad.
Okay, let's tell everyone about your homemade.
Oh yeah, so this is poster board, duct tape, and a dry cleaner hanger. And what it does is I can put it on, and my hands are free to call the race, and I can just quickly look down at my cheat sheet if I have to. This thing has survived since the first Derby, 2015.
Oh.
Hanging in there.
You think Travis should patent it? So,
yeah, so all eight of us, whoever.
any great patent lawyers out there?
The original Tom Durkin, who called races for years, was inspired by Bob Dylan's harmonica holder to come up with something to put on his neck, which sort of works. All right, let's memorize for a minute here. Ready, lady, ready, community adjusted, ready, lady. Final bell, final bell, final bell, final bell. Talking book, and final bell. Stepper. My favorite daughter, Lady Rockstar. Try and use like mental connections between the word and what you see. So like the horse Stepper, the 4 is red and yellow stripes, and sort of envisioning red and yellow steps. And so that's Stepper. Queen Bourbon, where are you again? Lady Rockstar, Queen Bourbon, 261. Community Adjusted. That's an annoying name. Ready Lady. Ready Lady. Should say it too loud. I know the owner.
Yeah. If you're watching, he didn't mean it.
Well, Community Adjusted is just a lot of syllables.
Yeah.
Sort of shout out loud.
There's been some difficult names, maybe not in the Derby per se, but some I feel like in the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
They're really trying to get you.
Do you know any owners that purposely name their horses to kind of mess with you?
There was a guy in New York before I started calling races that was all about that. Flat Fleet Feet.
Tongue twisters as
Yeah.
horse names.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll let you.
Close time in a minute. Final bell. Queen Bourbon. Talking book, Queen Bourbon, final bell. 261, Talking Book, Queen Bourbon. My favorite daughter. And the horses have reached the starting gate. It's post time. Waiting for 261 and Queen Bourbon. They're in the gate. And they're off. Very even start. Steppers away well. 261 is also there. Ready Lady is showing some speed as they come by us for the first time. 261 in goes over toward the rail, but Final Bell comes up to challenge now. And so these two in tandem by the Twin Spires for the first time. Queen Bourbon from the outside post is going to get stuck 3 or 4 wide into that opening turn, racing up into third. My favorite daughter toward the rail is fourth. Ready Lady comes away in fifth. Stepper follows that one sixth and 5 lengths off the lead. Lady Rockstar is running along in seventh. Community Adjusted is eighth by 2.5, and at the back is Talking Book about 10 lengths off the lead. The opening quarter goes in 24 and 2/5 seconds. They bend down to the backstretch run. 261 and Queen Bourbon going 1-2. Queen Bourbon with only mild pressure for 261, but they've opened up by 2.5. Final Bell is tracking intently from third, coasting along there. My favorite daughter is down inside racing fourth. Ready Lady is fifth and only 4 lengths off the lead. Steppers coming under a bit of a ride for the run to the far turn. Then it's Lady Rockstar, Community Adjusted, and Talking Book at the back. Onto the far turn. Queen Bourbon now cranks up the pressure on 261. They round the far turn, and Queen Bourbon grabs the lead right there midway around that turn. Final Bell is hovering in behind while third. Stepper picks it up. Stepper's launching a 3 or 4 wide rally. Lady Rockstar follows that one too. Off the turn into the stretch. Queen Bourbon comes wide off the turn, but is in front by half a length. 261 fights on toward the rail. Lady Rockstar rocketing down the crown of the course. Here comes Lady Rockstar over the top and to the front. Lady Rockstar with a burst of energy under the wire to win it by 4. Looks like Stepper got second. Ready Lady was third. It's tight for fourth. Community Adjusted or Queen Bourbon. That was a good race.
I got so excited. Thought my rose fascinator was going to block your view.
Tyler Gaffney. This new turf course, they really sort of fan out in the stretch. It makes for better racing. I don't know if there's anything to that, but that's cool.
So if you have any questions for Travis, we'll, as he's wrapping up, we can take some more. And you can tune in on USA Network at noon Eastern for the undercard. And then at 2:30, we'll switch over to NBC, 2:30 Eastern, for the Derby race coverage. And post time is about 7 p.m., a little before.
Long time from now.
Yeah.
Travis, do you have a Derby pick?
If I had to make a pick, I'd probably pick Messier. I just think he's going to sit a good trip, sort of just off the pace and outside without much trouble. I really don't have anything against Epicenter, though. I think he's the horse to beat. I think Zandon's got a big shot. Teba's taking a lot of money. I'm a little bit surprised by that because a lot of what I would call smart handicappers and horse players are a little bit against him, thinking that the third start is a little bit much to win the Derby. But the fact he's taken so much money, I do respect that. But if I really had to make a pick, it would be Messier. My live long shot would probably be Smile Happy. I just think he's going to sit a good trip and might be able to sneak into the trifecta or superfecta at a big price. But Messier would be my top pick.
And I don't know if anyone's asking this, but sometimes they do. You want to talk about why you don't bet on races that you call?
That was a lot. That was the next question.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm allowed to. I don't do it because I don't think you can be objective and honest in a race call if you have a bet down. In my life, I have done it before. Not here at Churchill, years ago, and I bet a horse. I think the horse's name was Pioneer Tiger. Anyway, so I bet him, and he won. And one of my best friends in life, who I would trust with anything, sent me a text. He goes, "Did you bet that horse?" And that was the last time I made a bet, because if he could pick up on it, other people can. And I was like, all right, no more. So I don't bet. I miss it, though. Betting the Derby it's part of Americana. But, yeah, I don't bet it. The sun's coming out.
Yay!
How long does an owner have to ask for a review of the race?
It's actually a great question. I know the trainer can file an objection with the stewards right after the race. I don't know if the owner can. If they can, I've never seen it. Or maybe I have seen trainer objections. But it has to be pretty quick. Like, this race is not yet official. You have to call in your objection pretty quick. When the jockeys are galloping out, there's outriders, the bosses on the track on their horses. They will check with all the jockeys to see and verify that they don't have any issues with how the race was run. And they'll get on the radio and say to the stewards, all clear. So they're good. And then the stewards will take a look at the race themselves. And it's in that time, it's really only a minute or two that an owner or a trainer would have the opportunity to make a call to the stewards and say, I want to have an objection. Obviously, there's races all throughout the year. So owners and trainers, they sort of know when there's the possibility of a foul. And we don't get that very often. We might get an objection or an inquiry once or twice a week, if that.
And actually, Travis's booth here is right next to where the stewards are. I can't show you because the angle, but he shares a wall with them. So this is their view as well.
Yep.
The best view of everything going on.
Lots of people saying you are amazing at what you do.
Thank you. Let me do this right quick. Lady Rockstar is a 4-year-old daughter of Frankel from Newsha by Shinxspiel, owned by Clipper Logistics, trained by Brendan Walsh with Tyler Gaffleone in 151.62. It's official. Fourth race is coming up next. Scratch the 1A5, 13 and 14, 26 minutes to post.
Okay, last chance for questions so we can let Travis do his job.
What's the most memorable race you called?
I'll always remember my first Derby. I called the Saudi Cup a couple of years ago in Saudi Arabia, which was, I had never really traveled abroad much, went around the world to Saudi, and got stuck in Jordan overnight with some COVID restriction issues. So it was just the most stressful 48 hours. So to call that race, that was one. And I got to say, yesterday's Kentucky Oaks quickly moved up the list. What a cool moment for D-Wayne Lucas at 86 years old to win his fifth Oaks. And it was just, it was supposed to be a miserable day yesterday, and the sun was out for most of the day. It was a really fun time at the track. So I would say yesterday's Oaks is up there too.
It was a great call.
Oh, thank you. Sometimes it comes together. Well, fun day.
Any other ones? Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you, Travis. And thanks everyone for watching, and turn on USA Network at noon Eastern, and then NBC at 2:30 to watch all the fun we're having here at Churchill Downs.